All right. So yeah, as you can all see, this is like a huge UI UX upgrade. It's like much cleaner, and this is something we also want to implement throughout like the hub. And yeah, to start this like first new section where you guys could see there's like an active bar, there's like these three little boxes and a cart here. And so the idea of this section is basically kind of a way for you as a user to see your personalized like dashboard and status. We wanted the first section to be like very clear for our community members to directly be able to see like data about their activity, and also to understand like what are the most important things. And so the most important thing, as you can see, is like the center of the first section, which is the activity bar. As we kind of like quickly touch on Twitter, if you guys were there, is that we are baking into our system this active concept. We want to like rewards and future perks to be like more skewed towards like our active and loyal community members. And so as you can see here, you have the bar, and if you complete more than, if you actually claim during a week 15.5 thousand XP points, you are considered active for this week. And what you can directly see underneath is like how much total XP points you have claimed throughout your entire journey with XP, how many weeks you have been active for, and the amount of points you need towards like the next year. So in this example here I'm sharing, I have this first tier of silver, and if you hover here you could see like the different threshold XP points for every tier. You could see like I'm currently rose, silver, sorry, the next one is rose gold, black, and green, and you could see how many points, XP points, you need to get to the next tier. um, Something to share here is that these are not the final system for the tiers. In the next version, we're going to be implementing like an entire new formulas and system for how we establish tiers. That's going to be much more robust and much more skewed towards like being active than just like claiming XP points. So this is the first section for status and kind of like personalized dashboard. Then if we scroll down a bit here, you could see also this entire new section, which is explore rewards. Also, we touched on this, is that moving forward, we want to have this kind of like ongoing rewards distributions and perk distribution. We don't want to do this like one big airdrop and that's it. We want our community members to be exposed to the future success of applications and teams. And we want to find a way that future success of application and teams is translated back to the community members, and that means that we want to have this continuous effort where we're continuously rewarding the active and loyal users. And here, as an example, you could see that Zeta Chain merge contest, where if you click on it, you could go and there's merge giveaway that you could fill to participate in it. And this is really the just like one first fun teaser way to like start showcasing the community members what could happen. And you could realize here that we have like these four icons. These four icons are the tier system. So as you could, when you hover here, you could see that it's silver, rose gold, black, and green, and you could see them in the same order here. And what it means is that this Zeta Chain Merge contest is open for everyone, like open for all tiers. Like any tier could participate in this contest and have a chance to win Zeta Chain merchandises. The idea that we're sharing with people here is that future rewards they're gonna be based on tiers. So a team, let's say, I don't know, like here we have accumulated finance. They could say that the only eligible users for our type of rewards could be like black and green tier users. And this is something that it could be customized by the applications and the teams. They could decide like what tier they want to distribute to, or like rewards. But of course, like the idea here is to show you that rewards is gonna be tied to your status, tied to your tiers, and like in the future also like to your activity. And then if we scroll down, it's kind of like the XP activities that everyone is familiar with, but like entire new revamped UI and UX. It's much cleaner. There's like really exciting features that we're building for each card, where you could click on it. You can open a page to learn about this product or this team, the feature. You can rate certain activities that's gonna come soon. And we're also gonna start exploring like new point system for our activities. Yeah, I'm gonna stop here, Jonathan. If someone has questions or like you think there's something we should dive in.
Thanks. Yeah, and thanks everyone for helping build this with us and giving us data to learn and improve. I don't want to keep our speakers waiting too long, so let me introduce Johnny from Native. Um, Johnny, you want to give a quick intro, and then we could jump into your RFP submission, and maybe there's some alpha you can share as well about any upcoming deployment on Zeta Chain. But floor is yours.
All right, thanks, Jonathan, for inviting me, and also thanks for the Zeta Chain team. So we just submitted our RFP for native, okay, and I can give you some sneak peeks into what we have planned out for. So right now we haven't released any tweets or announcements to our native users. So if you are one of those users that traded on native at least $10 worth of volume, and you have at least 200k worth of Zeta XP, then congratulations, you are part of our snapshot. So as of our latest snapshot, we have around 31,000 users, and we have 5 tiers. So our top 2 tiers are mainly rewarding users that have traded more than $50 worth of volume on native, and users that have 250,000 and more than 300,000 worth of Zeta XP. So these two groups of users, tier 1 and tier 2, they will be eligible for more than 50% of the reward share if you have fulfilled these two criteria on native.
Hey,
So
Johnny.
yes,
It could be cool to look at your screen just to bring this to life a little more. Do you have like a sheet that your team is working on, or I think you guys posted publicly?
so I have a CSV file here, which is something that I recently created, but it's not very visual. I don't have
Okay.
any beautiful visuals right now, but that's all I can currently share. 5 tiers, traded more than $10 worth of volume on native. Congratulations to the users. You are automatically added to our snapshot.
Cool. Yeah, when you guys are ready, we'll look out for that on social and be good to get more dialogue going. Anything else to share about those tiers or your submission?
Yeah, so that is for the current snapshot. That's the current plan for the airdrop round one. So currently native, we are deploying. We have a new product, native land. So we are working on turbocharging capital efficiency of our users to over 100%. So we want to overutilize capital in native. So right now, our next chain, we are planning to deploy our product on Zeta chain next, sometime within the next month or so. So for users, stay tuned because there will definitely be rewards if you use our latest product, Native Land, on Zeta Chain.
So you heard it from him directly. And I think as you guys develop cross-chain functionality, interaction with native Bitcoin on Zeta Chain, those could be some pretty cool XP activities. Thanks, Johnny. Anton from Accumulated, you want to give a quick intro on yourself, what you guys are doing in the crypto space, and then we can jump into your RFP.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. So at first, thank you all for your feedback on Twitter, on Discord. So despite a lot of people didn't provide a positive feedback, so we have taken into account some of your suggestions. So, and we also had an internal conversation with Zeta Chain team. And so we are working on lifting some criteria that we said previously in order to include more users into the airdrop. So at first, like when we were asked to provide the RFP, so we haven't any idea that we should distribute airdrop tokens, and there was a task.
I muted Jay-Z. Sorry about that, Anton.
Okay, and so there was task to fairly distribute that tokens to users, and so we started to analyze our on-chain activity. So we were surprised, or what to say, not surprised that we found out that there are more than 6 million mint transactions, and most of them are made by bots or by farmers because the amounts were very similar. It's usually 0.1 Zeta, 0.2 points Zeta, and so on. And that's why we decided to came up with the criteria of minimum amount deposited, because like if we decide to reward all 400k users for the 6 million dust transactions, so each user will get one Z token, and it so it will be worse than if we distribute tokens to real users who use accumulate finance to stake Zeta and to earn staking KPR. So we came up with 2 tiers. So the first tier is for Zeta Hub users, and we decided to include all Zeta users with any amount of Zeta XP. So we don't cut off users with less than 200k XP, but we take into account the XP amount during the calculation of allocations. And so the second criteria is the minimum deposit. So based on the snapshot, like we analyzed our other LSTs, not only Zeta, and like the average LST staker has about $10 stake. So like it's natural activity in other protocols, and so that's the data that we came from. And we then analyzed the holders of our LSTs based on the amounts. And it came up that in Zeta chain, on the contrary, there are a lot of users with sub 1 Zeta staked, and only 0.5% of users with more than 10 Zeta staked. And so based on the snapshot of the token holders, like if we choose 10 Zeta tokens as a minimum stake, then there are 2,000 users, more or less. Like if we lift it down to 5 Zeta tokens of 5 Zeta tokens staked, then the number of users that stake this amount is about 4,000 users. So I see some questions that why it's not announcement in advance. So because we have no idea that we will be distributing the airdrop. So that's why we cannot even announce this. If we were communicated in advance that our users will receive airdrop, we need to explain them what criteria will be, or even slightly show them some ideas about this. So we would do this, but we found out about the airdrop even after the Medium article has been published. So we have to work with the data that we have on chain, and there are 500,000 users and 6 million transactions, and so you cannot simply split all rewards between all these people, because it doesn't make sense, because there are very few percentage of real users from this. Even on this Discord right now, there is 100 people. And
yeah, you want to take time to make sure you get it right. That makes sense. There's maybe a good question for our group on the Zeta Chain side from Corey. dApps shouldn't set any additional eligibility requirements for airdrops. Brandon, there are some core guidelines in the announcement from a couple weeks ago around leveraging XP, but also there's some freedom from apps to introduce different requirements. Can you talk about that balance and maybe iterate those core requirements about like the majority of the airdrop going to XP? Brenton, I don't think we can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
There you are.
Okay. Yeah, so just reiterating the probably most important guidelines that we are requiring all apps to follow is that the majority of any RFP submission needs to go to XP snapshot users over 200K. With that gives some flexibility, so apps can layer in their own criteria to reward different tiers of those XP users and other users accordingly. But if you are in that snapshot, you are basically the target of majority rewards going out through this program. Apps can design different tiers to their app's needs, basically layering in app-specific knowledge, understanding of users into the XP data layer. But that is the baseline. And yeah, you can design up to 15 tiers. And of course, apps are getting a little creative in how they are designing tiers. But you can include a few that are not part of the XP program, but that is going to be the minority of rewards. Beyond that, we want to give apps creative freedom so they can figure out the best way to reward apps. And towards the end of this program, when all of the RFPs are out, we'll try to compile the list of eligibility and hopefully find a way to display it for all of you in Hub, so you have one place to kind of see or have access to what is going out, timelines, all of that. So I also saw some questions on timeline, and hopefully that clears a little bit of it up.
Thank you. Anton, anything else to share? Maybe upcoming product updates or news for the community?
Yeah, we have recently finished the audit of our Minter contracts, and there will be a new Minter contract that will allow users to request direct withdrawals from liquid staking. And so it will be easier for users with large amounts of that to stake to enter or exit accumulate finance. So, and also all existing users are not only they don't only rely on the stable swap pools now, but after we deploy the update in July, then users can also request withdrawals directly.
Very cool. Thank you. And looking forward to, looking forward. Thanks. Mrigank from Eddy Finance, OmniChain Dex. Go ahead and reintroduce yourself. Yeah. Go for it.
For sure. Hi, I'm Mrigank. I'm the co-founder of Eddy Finance. We built an OmniChain DEX on top of Zeta Chain. I'll just start with few exciting updates that are coming your way. So first is we have enabled the utilization of other asset classes. So for example, you can now move your USDC from Ethereum to Binance Smart Chain. This should be live in next 6 months, 6 hours for everybody to use. After that, we're bringing in more stable swap pools. I think we spoke about it last time. We're just about to get the audit done, and post that these should be live for the users as well. So these are the major two updates. The second one emphasizes on fixing the slippage issues that the community usually complained about. So even at the 50% value of the pool, you would not experience any slippage after this is implemented. So these are the two big updates that we have. Moving on to the RFP submission, I think we spent a lot of time trying to figure out, what works the best for everyone. And in the end, we sort of settled down on creating 15 tiers. I'll just present my screen, probably reflect on the tweet that we did. Let me see if I have the access to do it, or if I might have to probably come back and restart in case. No. Wait, should I just join back again, Jonathan, to present my screen?
Sure.
Or if anybody on the team could just probably open our tweet. I don't have, so I have to restart Discord to.
You can Telegram me a link. I can share.
Okay, thank you.
Let me know.
Yeah.
Got it. One moment. Able to see the screen.
Yeah. If you could just open up that image, I think I could utilize that to talk more about what we have thought about. So we've broken down the tiers into 15 parts. The major focus has been to keep a minimum check of $10 and 200K Zeta as an eligibility. This was done primarily because if we did not have these checks, you could have too many people getting the airdrop, and then in the end, nobody gets anything substantial. And in that case, if everybody gets like one, two Zeta, half a Zeta, then usually that airdrop does not hold a lot of value. So we wanted to have some mechanisms to cut this one out. So we've taken the first one as Zeta XP greater than 200K, just to sort of clarify. More than 78% users that are getting the airdrop have 200K XP. And also in terms of the distribution, the current model I'm showcasing has more than, I think, 85.8% people having more than 200K XP. So majority of the distribution goes to XP users. To sort of have more use cases to differentiate the bots as well as like Sybil farms, what we have done is we've broken down the transaction numbers into two criteria. If your number of transactions are greater than 5 or 10, you get each 1 point each. For cross-chain transactions, we have done the same because our core focus is on moving assets between chains. So there we have kept checks as 1 because if you have used it even once, we wanted to give some weightage to that. And then the second tier is at 10. For volume, we have kept it at 2,500, 500, and 1,000. So these help us differentiate, who has been utilizing it genuinely and sort of create that distinction to reward real users from bots. Similarly, for cross-chain, we have taken the similar approach of 10, 50, 500, and 1,000. And beyond that, we have also taken into account what liquidity we've added to the pools. So here we have seen 100 and 500 as two cases. Even if you have kept it for 1 day, we have considered those for the liquidity part. And based on these tiers, now we have sort of distributed according to these tiers and how much allocation in terms of percentage would you get. With this, the current model, we get 160K plus wallets that become eligible, and we would distribute the airdrop too. One thing that we might change and sort of tweak a little bit is see if you have, for example, 3 out of 15 checks done. Then we probably might need to adjust the eligibility scale in terms of the bare minimum eligibility becomes 3 points. depending on how much allocation we get, because our core aim with this RFP exercise, where we've created a lot of sheets, looked at data, has been to reward uh, users in a fair manner. If we just distribute, let's say, the last 3 tiers, one Zeta, half a Zeta each, then it might not make sense. So we wanted to keep the distribution. I think when and sort of down the line we know about how much amount are we going to distribute, we can tweak out the bare minimum eligibility or the percentage allocation for each of these tiers. But the idea is primarily the same, that we look at these 15 tiers, we look at these, and also we kept a small portion to reward users that have done off-chain activity, for example, taken parts in our testnet quests, in our ZD quests, all of those. So we've tried to keep those into the picture as well with a small allocation there. But yeah, primarily this has been what we have thought about.
That's cool. So yeah, you have the XP threshold number 1, and then can we think of these other factors as like accelerators or like bonuses?
Yes. So what we have done is, like, for each of these, the bare minimum criteria has been Zeta XP greater than 200K. With obviously the volume being greater than $10. I assume most of the users would have gotten that, since we had a minimum check on the swapping amount when we launched XP. So that meant if you had done more than 2 swaps ever on AD, you should probably qualify for the bare minimum check. So that is what we kept in place, and then these act as boosters. So if you take off, let's say, 15 out of 15, which in our, I think, data 25 wallets have, in that case you get the majority allocation. If you have 14, then you get a little less, which 53 wallets have. I'm happy to answer like how many wallets fall into each category, and probably looking at the allocation, we could say, hey, we reward everybody who has more than 3 or more points, 4 or more points. That is a little, I think we'll have to just do the math and make sure, everybody gets rewarded fairly. So we would use that check depending on how much Zeta allocation we get.
Got it. Yeah, as you get through the data here, it would be cool for the community to see the distribution. And yeah. Are there any constructive questions that you're seeing on the chat about your proposal or Zeta Chain team? Any questions, please call them out.
I'm happy to answer anything, but let me see if I could see anything else. I think one another thing that we have been thinking about, I'm not sure, is we had a 10% allocation kept for social activities. So if you have participated, I think we have been struggling to correlate wallets to what users have done on chain. So in that case, we are thinking about it. So either we create a mechanism to distribute it. I think we've taken a couple of calls where users can submit their social wallets, and we sort of try and map it out if it's fairly done. But yeah, I mean, we've been able to map only like 500 wallets or so. So I think another part we're looking at is eliminating that aspect of things and moving everything on chain. I think that's more transparent, that's more trustless for everybody to believe. I think that when we are trying to do that social mapping, um, it becomes just really hard. So that's one thing that we've been exploring. We are not sure yet. But yeah, I mean, the last submission that we have, we have kept these tiers. We have kept the bar at 3 or 4 points. And then we have been thinking to remove the social aspect at all and then move everything on chain, because the mapping is a little hard for us to sort of figure out. In terms of questions, I think I see one question: why is it not $5 and $10? I think at 5 it was like too many wallets, which meant even if we had a decent chunk of Zeta allocation, that would probably not suffice users, and the folks would usually get like half for Zeta, 1 Zeta, different values we had tried in the simulation. But yeah, I mean, we thought it's better to reward less people with something substantial than everybody with 1 or 2 Zeta.
Cool. Thanks. And I think what we're seeing in a lot of these RFP submissions is some approaches are a little to many. Some approaches, like you just mentioned, are more substantial rewards to fewer. So it's good to see a variety. Thanks, Mergonk. JZ from, I believe, Zebra. Let me take you off of mute. I think you were in a noisy room earlier. JC, are
Okay.
you with us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Welcome.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and give
May I?
an intro on yourself and what you're building at Zebra, and then we can talk about the RFP.
Oh, yeah, sure. Let me share my screen first. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Let's give it a second. Not yet.
I'm using mobile, so can you
Yeah,
guys see my screen?
yeah, we
Okay,
can
okay.
now.
Okay, great. Let me demo my our product first. So basically, we are Zebra protocol. We are IRC protocol against based on Zebra. So basically, you guys can think us as the liquidity just on Zeta chain. So users can basically use Zeta as collateral to borrow Zebra USD. So Zebra USD can then be swapped to Izumi Finance to USDT. And the whole process is actually we only charge small fees and it's zero interest. So this is our product. You guys have any questions? No?
I
Okay.
think all good
So,
here. Yeah.
Okay. Then let me show our XP allocation airdrop allocation plan. So build them. Let me share some statistics first. Okay. So we currently have you guys can see we have 149,000 transactions, and we have a TBL of 200K, is not much. And at the beginning of our program, because we as our product launch, because we are actually you can think us as a borrowing lending protocol, right? So someone got liquidated, so we decide to allocate 50% of the XP to the liquidated users and 30% to the Zebra points owners. So they are actually 30% of the Zebra points owners who actually create hopes and borrow Zebra USD and swap. They are our actual users. So and 50% distributed to the who raise the borrowing fee, and the 5% is for our team. So when talking about the multiplier, right? So XP is the Zeta XP is lower 200K, we'll give them multiplier 1. And XP is over 200K, we'll give them 1.2, the multiplier. XP is over 300K, it's 1.5. And over 400K is the multiplier is 2.
Thanks,
So any
JC.
questions?
What kind of of course you can't make everyone happy and get these things 100% right, but what kind of feedback have you gotten so far? Where have you made adjustments?
Okay. Sorry, Johnson. Can you pardon?
Was asking what kind of feedback you're getting from the market and your
Okay.
users. Yeah, where have you made
Okay, that's a good
adjustments? Yeah.
Okay, that's a good question, because when you're borrowing the CBRUSD against Zeta, right? We are charging a small percent fee. So that's where the fees are coming from. It's a one-time fee. And also when the props are liquid, so to incentivize the liquidator, right? Because the protocol is decentralized, so we will charge the fees from the user who got liquidated, and we give those fees directly to the liquidator. So that's the two kinds of fees we are charging.
Great. Thank you for sharing. And anything coming up on the roadmap, product updates to call out?
Okay. So okay, thank you, James. Okay, start the next one.
Thanks. I think there's a bit of a lag
Okay.
I'm seeing in the chat. Thanks, JC. Cool. Yeah, so moving forward, we'll do these sessions every 2 weeks and share updates on XP and the new proposals going out. And we're looking to start the first distributions very soon. Want to get some questions from chat or maybe a couple speakers here. There was one from Varhezo expressing thoughts about some of the activities in XP and varying levels of transparency from projects make on-chain voting. So yeah, for some of the product contributors here, maybe you could talk through how we think about decentralization in Zeta Hub, selection of XP activities, and just the network in general, and what that process looks like and that balance. I mean, one thing in the article today is different feedback mechanisms, the XP feedback channel, but there are some more strategic thinking about how to do on-chain voting for requirements of activities, points, and features in general in Zeta Hub. Let me know if you guys have anything to add. And then Dennis, on your side, thinking about decentralization in the network, I mean, this touches on the governance module and ability to vote on tech upgrades and proposals for new chain integrations. That, of course, happens in stages over time. Any insights to share from your experience on how to approach that and anything specific about Zeta?
Yeah, so right now the governance module is being used to vote on software upgrades and parameter changes. Of course, the path to decentralization is always it's always a journey, right? You can't decentralize everything from the very beginning, right? It's a gradual process. So I think what's going to happen is we'll be adding more EVM chains, and as soon as this process is streamlined and we are kind of more confident in being able to add more chains on the fly, I think we'll be using governance more and use the mechanisms offered by the governance module to allow to essentially empower the community to decide which EVM chain they want to integrate next. And yeah, I think with EVM chains, it's much easier than with chains that require custom integration, just because EVM chains will be possible to add, hopefully, on the fly with just parameter changes to the network, rather than having to spend time integrating the chains. So yeah, that's the path, and I think it's generally a good idea for us to consider more ways the community can participate. I mean, you can already submit proposals and vote on them. It's just not necessarily something we've put time into.
Thank you. Yeah, if there are any good constructive questions in the chat, feel free to call them out, guys. I can also invite some folks to the stage here. like we're responding in the chat. Let's try to bring up Chris 881. Saw you raise your hand to speak. Rafael Ramirez, also bringing you to the stage. And MD Shob. I'll invite a few people up. I think you have to accept. And others who have questions, feel free to come to the stage. Osmosis, hey. You have a question, Osmosis? Or you just wanted to hang out with us? Yeah, if you guys have questions about Zeta Hub update today, XP product, RFP distributions, please come up to the stage or raise your hand. Osmosis, unfortunately, I'm going to move you to the audience. Maybe we'll see you next time. Or sentiment about transparency from dApps. Yeah, I want to reiterate the new requirement about this XP airdrop round 1 that is token table, which will be used for all of these distributions. Rafael Ramirez, you're free to come up to the stage. Give it a minute or two here, and then we'll wrap up. Thank you again to the speakers for joining and walking through the RFP methodologies. Has Zeta Earn been included in the distribution consideration? Have they submitted an RFP? I'm not sure.
Yeah, we'll need to double check, but I'm pretty sure they have, and they might just not be in the UI yet.
Cool. Yeah, I think there are definitely some that are still being worked out. And then they will show up in the new Explore Rewards section. Thanks, Ragnarok. Thank you for the clarification of all these RFP updates. Thanks, Mading. We're doing our best here. And thanks for joining in on the session. RFP, make people say airdrop is a scam. Yes, we're well aware and read feedback on all the channels. We want to share these key takeaways from like product updates and tech upgrades in a simple, like low resolution way, because a lot of people, as you know, don't read into the specifics, and we understand. And there's probably an opportunity to like make things even more simple in the TLDRs and announcements. We can do better. Love you too, Arshad. Yeah. All right, guys. Yeah, if you were on the product AMA on Twitter, thanks for joining that, and thanks for being here on this first RFP review session. Keep the feedback coming in XP feedback. We also have some cool features coming out in Hub where you'll be able to directly provide feedback, and overall excited to move towards being more transparent and building more with the community. So this is super helpful. MD Shob just joined the stage. This is your last opportunity. You have a question for us? Going once, twice. Oh. All right. Well, shoot it in the new feedback channel. And yeah, everyone have a great day, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.